let's get straight into it. I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. This is exactly how we made 74K via wholesale real estate in the last month, and how you guys can copy this as well. Here's some social proof, just so you guys believe us. Guess what? There's people who were on the same free class just a few months ago that are now printing as well. So there's no reason why you guys shouldn't be able to do the same exact thing. Now, let's all get on the same page here. Like I said, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. Every single one of you that is on this call right now is here because you want to learn how to make more money than you are today, right? Comment yes if I'm right. If that is the case, comment yes if I am right. Yes, of course. Why else would you be here? But here's the thing. Most of you are trying to start your first business, and most of you don't have a ton of capital, experience, skills, connections, etc. I was in the same spot not too long ago, guys, and it made me feel like becoming an entrepreneur was nearly impossible. Because honestly, this is what most popular options look like. Traded in crypto, drop shipping, copywriting / an agency. Then you got what I'm showing you. And then here's all the things, the capital needed, the risk that's associated, the profit per month, and the skill sets needed. It only made sense to go with wholesale real estate because you didn't need a lot of capital. The risk associated was very low. The profit per month was around 10 to 20K per deal typically, and the skill sets needed are very, very low. Let me explain it this way. With any business, there will always be supply and demand. Most businesses fall into product-based or service-based businesses. Product-based businesses like Amazon dropshipping, the supply is cheap products and you have to create your own demand. Service-based businesses, like agencies, freelance copywriting, your supply is your lackluster skill set because you've never done it before. And you also have to generate demand by signing clients. Again, service-based businesses, product-based businesses, what I'm showing you. What is your supply with wholesale real estate? Distressed properties, which these are never going away. Properties in general are never going away. Now, how are you going to generate your demand within this business model? You have the supply. Now, what's the demand? The demand is real estate investors. Another thing that is never going away. So you got supply is distressed real estate properties and your demand is real estate investors. Two things that are never going to go away. And then lastly, how hard is it to stand out against the competition? With the other, service-based and product-based businesses, it's pretty hard to stand out. With wholesale real estate, it's really not because most people are too lazy to become a wholesaler. And they also don't see actually what it really takes to become a profitable wholesale real estate investor. With wholesaling, your supply is real estate properties and your demand is real estate investors. You're positioning yourself as a broker of the most desirable and premium asset on the face of the earth. And when done correctly, you can easily do up to 10 to 20K deals that you are brokering. But it's too hard. People in this generation are so soft that any business model that doesn't involve them clicking buttons and making magic, internet money from their laptop, they don't even want to think about it. Yes, this is what my wholesaling business is today. Mine and Ethan's wholesaling business. We are literally making, I guess you could say, magic internet money from our laptop. But most people don't even know it's possible to run a wholesaling business that way. You can easily do the same exact thing once you get the hang of it, guys. Again, it's really not that hard. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the non-wholesaling virgin? Do you want to be the rich wholesaling Chad? Trying drop shipping for the 50,000th time. Your bank account's only at $5. Or wholesaling, you can make phone calls and get paid out of thin air. And your bank account's looking nice. You're confident. You're charismatic. There's a lot of pros to being in this wholesaling seat. So ironically, this is why wholesaling is such a good opportunity because 99% of people get scared off by it. Anyone with a little bit of hustle, determination, and the correct blueprint in front of them can easily make 6 figures a year doing this. Again, guys, it really only takes about 6 to 7 deals just to hit that 6-figure mark. Even if you're here just to get that steady income or like a comfortable income, financially, comfortable, you only need about 6 to 7 of these deals done each year. And I'm going to show you exactly what I needed to know when I started out. So tonight you're going to learn how to identify the hidden pocket of motivated sellers, how to reach these motivated homeowners in your local real estate market so you can put them under contract, how to close these deals that are in states with tricky laws against wholesaling, how to find the top cash buyers, and then everything you need to know about title companies, attorneys, contracts, and how to actually close out the deal. Now, keep in mind, guys, this method doesn't involve taking a bunch of upfront risk or having any sort of experience in real estate or wholesaling or business, or having a ton of upfront capital, or having to go through all the guesswork that me and Ethan had to do in the beginning. And this method hasn't just worked for us. We have it down to a science at this point, so you are going to want to stay through the entire training. Drew Platt, this was one of my first ever people that I ever helped close their first wholesaling deal. It was back when I started making content. I wanted to put some sort of info product together just so I can actually help people that were reaching out. So he paid about like $150 for a PDF. I put words onto a piece of paper for this individual. Again, guys, I put words onto a piece of paper, not a free class, not a bunch of video modules, words onto a piece of paper, and he was able to close his first deal for $7,500. And then he went on to close even more deals from there. Luis Chino got paid out in all cash because he found a buyer for the deal. He didn't even find the seller and get the contract signed with the seller. All he did was network with some wholesalers, had a great buyer, and was just able to plug his buyer into all of those deals because his buyer was buying so many of those transactions, buying so many of those deals. So he was just plugging his buyer into other wholesalers' deals and getting paid out in cash. Now, real estate creates countless millionaires, guys. And until wholesaling became popular, there was really no way to start real estate if you didn't have a lot of money. Wholesaling is the best and only way to get exposed to the real estate market with less than six figures. And to be honest, the fact that we started real estate at such a young age means that we'll have more real estate knowledge than 99% of people. We both will have 7 to 8 figure real estate portfolios soon. And this could be your reality as well. Now, why is wholesaling so powerful? Because, guys, at the end of the day, real estate is the most transacted asset in the entire world. People buying homes will never go away. And once you understand the skill set that comes with wholesaling, you will be able to make money on these transactions forever. Now, if you want to put yourself in a position to get wealthy, you just need to get close to these high dollar transactions. And as a wholesaler, that's exactly what you are doing. Now, wholesaling is the best business model that you can possibly start without knowing a ton of technical skills, taking a lot of risk, trying to start a brand or developing your own product, risking your money in the markets, or starting some complicated business that requires employees or websites, etc. It's the best way to still make a ton of cash as a one-man show. Now, wholesaling is meant for people who don't have a lot of capital, have a ton of ambition, and are willing to hustle, do the research, and do the reps, and etc. If you want to do that, we're living proof. You'll never have to work a 9 to 5 ever again in your life. Now, why this opportunity could be life-changing for you. In 2024, again, wholesaling is one of the only effective methods to actually make crazy returns in this market. If you're wondering why, again, one-man team. You can do this as a one-man team. You need very little capital. You can do it from anywhere in the world. I saw somebody in the chat asking if I can do this from Canada. Yes, you can do this from anywhere in the world. The profit margins are actually insane. You can actually see results within the first 90 days. And one of the best parts, you don't need a degree. You don't need any sort of certifications or licensing. You can get going with it literally today. Now, why is tonight so important for you? As more people learn about this, obviously, there's going to be more competition. There's an amazing opportunity window right now, and the market's just now realizing how powerful this model is. And in about 60 minutes from now, you will leave this free training with the precise and actual plan showing you exactly how you can capitalize on this opportunity. Now, how valuable is this information that we're actually putting out here? We don't even offer one-on-ones anymore, like direct one-on-ones anymore, because we're too busy actually doing wholesaling, aka putting our money where our mouth is. But if we were to do a 60-minute, let's say we were to do a 60-minute private training with the same exact information, we'd probably be charging about $2,000 an hour. So with that said, I want you to pretend that you paid $2,000 to be on this call tonight and take notes and take action as if you actually did. Now, a little bit about me for those that don't fully know who I am. Cameron Olvera came from a small town in the Chicago suburbs. I'd say like lower middle class area. Neither of my parents were in real estate or in business. My mom was my lunch lady. My dad was the manager at Portillo's. That's why I always like to include this picture, because he would always give me 100% off. was average kid hanging around the wrong crowd. I'd say a handful of these people, have gotten in trouble for selling weed or doing something they shouldn't have been doing. And the way that I got into wholesale real estate was one day, Ethan, my partner, who's on here with us right now, was posting on the Snapchat story. And he said, hey, like he was putting his checks that he's closing. And I'm like, dude, what are these $10,000, $20,000 checks? Like, what is it you're doing? You're still in high school right now. You haven't even graduated. I'm trying to grind it out through college right now. How are you making this kind of money? He said, wholesale real estate. So I was like, all right, bet. Dropping out of college, and I'm gonna get it figured out with you. I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna get this thing figured out. And that's exactly what we did. And 3 years later, we're still partners to this day. So this is Ethan Manaus, my business partner of 3 years now. So Ethan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Cool. What's going on, guys? So like Cam had said, I am his business partner. We've been business partners for a while now. Pretty much like the message that I want to get across today, number one, give actionable items on how to like actually do what we do and like make real money from it. Number one. But number two, like I hope that we can inspire people that maybe are just getting started. Maybe you're young, maybe you're a little bit older, whatever the case is, but I'm going to assume that you're earlier on within this journey. So that said, it's possible for everyone, because when I got started, I was 17. I closed my first deal when I was 17. Cam closed his first deal at 19. We were both like super uneducated, just random like high school kids, college kids that didn't know anything. So this business model works as long as you actually apply it. And that's the point that I hope that we can get across today.
Oh, nah, I was muted for a second. Now, why is this information so valuable, guys? In 3 years, we've closed over 2.5 million in properties and closed over 7 figures in wholesale fees. You'll learn as much as we can possibly share tonight, even with the 3 years of mistakes, financial losses, trial and errors with marketing, all the mentorships that we personally invested in. We've worked one-on-one with multiple wholesalers who have decades under their belt. We didn't see a penny come in for the first 4 months. For the first 4 months, me and Ethan being partners, we didn't see a penny come in. But now we have it down to a science and are confident that we can get you results in about 90 days or less. We've helped people of all experience levels become success stories and do the same exact thing overnight. So get ready, because in the next 60 minutes, you should learn more than about 10 hours of searching this information on YouTube or Google University. And I do have a challenge for you. For the next 60 minutes, I challenge you to close out all unnecessary tabs on your device. Put your phone away if you're not on it. Take very, very precise notes. And if you are on your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb. And if you guys take notes, you'll be eligible for a $250 cash giveaway that we'll announce at the end of the training. All you need is a picture of your notes to enter. So make sure you're taking notes and make sure you get a picture of that. Now, why does this training even exist? We get dozens of DMs every single day asking, is wholesaling saturated? Does it still work in 2024? How do I find buyers? How do I do this? How do I do that? We get asked so many times, and explaining why on TikTok or Instagram or anywhere else just doesn't really give us enough time to really explain why. So that's why we're doing this live training. Now, quick roll call. Comment 1 through 5 in the chat. What's your experience level with wholesale real estate? 1, you've never heard of it before. 2, you've done some research, never really tried. 3, you've tried to get a property under contract, but then you failed. 4, you've got 1 property under contract and you close out, but then success kind of fizzles out. Or 5, you're just happy, where you are and you just want to learn a little bit. Oh my God, it's always the number 2s. It's always the number 2s. Somebody put -1. Don't worry for those that are putting 1 or -1. We're going to make sure you're caught up to speed. But for the people that are 2, this is the last time you're ever going to have to do any sort of research. And you're going to have an actual action plan ready to go. So yeah, a lot of 2s in the chat. That's all right. But next time, I want to see that you have type it in the number 3 or 4 or 5 even. So before we get into the training, let's get those people who were typing 1 or -1 up to speed. Now, what is wholesaling real estate? What does it that mean, Ethan, do? What is it that we're even teaching tonight? Well, wholesale real estate is when you are putting a property under contract at a discounted price, and then you're reselling the rights to buy the property to another buyer for a profit. So essentially, you will find a seller. You will agree on a price with that seller to buy the home, essentially. You'll put it in writing in a contract. And then since you have that contract, It's the seller's name on there, your name on there, saying that you're buying the property. You now own the rights to buy the property. It's a legally binding contract. The seller can't go off and sell it to somebody else or try to go around you and screw you over. You own the rights to buy that property. You have a time period to actually assign that property and basically sell the rights to buy the property to another buyer for a profit. So we'll get a property under contract at 100,000, and we'll find someone that's willing to pay 110. The seller will get their 100, I'll get my 10, and then the buyer gets a house. So that is wholesale real estate, and people are doing it all over this country, and you need to know how. You deserve to know how. Now that we're on the same page, we're going to show you the exact 90-day blueprint that you need to follow to close your first deal and have that first juicy assignment fee hit your bank account. Remember, this 90-day blueprint is the exact process that we've refined for our 3 years of experience and the hundreds of students that we've coached. So let's get into the training. Remember, guys, take notes and take a picture of it at the end.
All right, cool. So this is going to be broken down into like a 90-day wholesaling workout plan. So we're going to take it month by month. It's 90 days because that's genuinely like how long it actually takes to close the first deal. So what we find with a lot of wholesalers nowadays is that they try to do things in the wrong order. Some people try to find buyers. Some people try to find sellers first. Some people try to find a title company to work with first. So this plan that we have put in place is it's meant to be in order from month 1, 2, and 3. So we'll get into it, but I just wanted to preface that before getting started. Go to the next slide, Cam. All right, so month 1 is all about pinpointing the hidden pocket of properties in your area. You want to basically pinpoint the pocket of properties that are the gems. And what I mean by gems are going to be higher crime, lower income, older homes, stuff like that. And we're going to dig into it. But this is a breakdown of month 1. So I would take a screenshot of this. This is a brief overview. We're going to talk about how to pick a market, how to pull your first list, and then how to start getting people on the phone that are actually interested in selling their property. Okay? You can scoot to the next one.
One really, really important thing, guys, picking your market, probably the most important first step. Again, guys, remember, take a screenshot of this. You want to pick an area that's high crime, low income. You'd be surprised. It was a big surprise to me. What investors would want to be buying in a high crime, low income area? Well, if the values are still there, if you can still turn 50 into 100 in the hood, there's still going to be demand out there. So keep that in mind, guys.
Yep. All right, so first things first is picking your market. And I'm going to share my screen to go through this. But the 3 main points, sorry, keep sharing, and then I'm going to share over. I'll tell you in a sec. But the 3 main points that we're looking for is high crime, tired homeowners, and then a high population. Now, what I mean by that with high crime, we're looking for the areas that there's legitimately higher crime. The reason that we're looking for those areas is because there's also going to tend to be a lower income. And because there's lower income, there typically are going to be more landlords, more distressed properties, and just overall the area is not going to be as nice. So that means there is a position in the market for us to come in and uplift it to higher value. And that's what wholesaling is. It's finding a distressed property and then putting it out to investors to purchase it, eventually renovate it or re-rent it out or whatever the case is. Okay, so that's the first thing. And I'm going to walk through how you can check the crime rates. The next thing is tired homeowners. So what I mean by tired homeowners, these are people that have lived in their house for a number of years. Let's say 10, 15, 20 years. Over 10, 15, 20, 30 years of living in one single home, that's a lot of money to maintain it. And when you mix that in with the high crime, low income areas, well, let's say, for example, on the south side of Chicago here, there's a lot of homes that were built in 1920, 1930, and these people have owned them for 40 years. Because they owned them for 40 years, they've had to continuously either, number one, fix it up, which requires a lot of money, or number two, their home is distressed and they need to sell it in as-is condition to an investor because it's ready to be turned over again. All right, so that's the second thing. We're looking for properties that were built or we're looking for really primarily like a market that was built from 1960 and under. So anything before 1960 is preferred. Now, if you're out in Texas where it's like newly developed, because I know there's a lot of guys out here in Texas, guys and girls, I would try to stay 1990 and earlier. So when you are picking a market, be conscious of it. Like Cam and I, we opened a market in Pittsburgh. It meets all three of these criteria. For example, high crime. There's a lot of crime over there. Second thing, there's a lot of homes that were built in 1900, 1910, 1920, 1930. And then a very, very, very high population in the county that we're doing marketing in. All right, so that's the first step. That's how you actually go out and you pick your market. Now, in terms of checking population, it's a simple Google search. In terms of checking the crime rate, it's also a simple Google search. And then in terms of the homes, you can kind of grab an idea from using third-party data sources like Zillow, Redfin, those areas, and you can kind of do searches that way. So the way that we're checking the population is it's going to look super simple, but you're typing in the county, and then you're typing in a search of how many people are within that county. Now, it's pretty cool. There's a census data that the government puts out, and you can see in order the county by county when you do the search on it. So let's say Cook County, and it'll give you like a bunch of different stuff, but mainly you're looking for population. You want to see how many people are here. By the way, 5 million is not something that I recommend comparing to, because we're in the second largest county in the United States. So you can kind of see here, total population, 5.2, median household income, $80,000 a year. See a lot of information on the census website that the government puts out. All right, so that's how we're checking that. Now you can check out crime rate as well. So every market that you guys are in, typically, if you're doing it the right way, if you have 500,000 people or more within a county, you should have a larger city, like a metropolitan area, like Chicago, for example. So when you're doing a search on the crime rate, you want to do the search on the city, not the specific county, because the county is so big. And that applies really for anywhere. So that's a simple Google search. Again, you want to look up what the Chicago, in this example, you're looking up what is the Chicago crime rate. And there is a website called Neighborhood Scout that you can see right here. And you can start to see which pockets are filled with crime primarily. So safest are going to be the lighter, and the most dangerous are going to be the darker. Well, take a guess. This is where Cam and I do a lot of our deals. We do a ton of deals within this area. This is mainly actually where most of our deals are happening. And then some of the south suburbs, which, crime rate is relatively high there as well. Okay, so first things first, you got to pick, where do I want to start trying to buy properties? All right, and that's how you do it. Let's keep going. And then like from there, guys, once you have that, then you just need to start pulling data. You need to start calling it. We're going to go through like that we pull. Everyone's always wondering, like, what's the magic list?
Where do you get your leads? Where do you get your leads?
But it's also the same as everyone else.
Also, guys, keep in mind, picking your market, you just saw how fast we were able to do that. Don't spend days or weeks doing this. This should take 10 minutes to figure out. As long as those three things add up, crime, the year that they were built, and then the population. Honestly, you can almost go with just the crime and the population. If you're having a hard time, finding those houses on what year they were built, so be it. But don't spend years trying to figure out which market you need to pick. Yeah. Figure it out ASAP and just go with it. And then trial and error from there. It's the only way you're going to be able to figure out.
Don't let it be a crutch on why you're not getting started. It shouldn't be a reason. Another thing too is if you live in a relatively larger area, like Raleigh, North Carolina, or Atlanta, Georgia, or you live near a big city, go after that big city, because you want to do in-person appointments, which we're going to talk about on month 2. All right, so now the next step is setting up your system to generate leads. What do we mean by a lead? A lead is someone that says, yes, Ethan, I want to sell my property, right? That is a lead. That's someone that's interested in selling their property. That's what matters. Not what list are you pulling, or How are you getting in touch with them? You're trying to generate people that are interested in selling, and that is it, plain and simple. Now, this business is sales and marketing, like Cam had said, and this is the marketing part. This is the marketing part that's called direct response marketing. Direct response marketing is when you put an advertisement out, you do some sort of call to action to where they need to respond back to that marketing piece. And if they respond, that indicates they're interested. Or maybe they're not interested. They might indicate something else. But that's what we're doing here. So now that you understand like the concept of this marketing thing, we're going to go through the actual ways that we pull the list and all that stuff. So you can click over to the next one. All right. Now let's go back to this one because I want to show how we find our data first. Let me just share my screen right now so I have it pulled up. So first way that we're actually sharing the first way that we're pulling our data and the way that we recommend to beginners is through driving for dollars. So a lot of you guys are like, oh, like, okay, like this is another thing of driving for dollars. But the reason driving for dollars is so effective is because you get high quality leads at a very cheap cost. And when I say high quality leads, like these leads are like, they have intent because you're manually going out and pulling the data. It's not just like someone that you don't know what the house looks like, or you don't know the condition or where it's at. Like, you know that this house is beat up. So that's what we're looking for with driving for dollars. We're looking for beat up properties. Now, this is another reason why it's important to pick a good market. Because if you're if I'm trying to go driving for dollars in the Hamptons, like I'm not going to find anything. So I'm going to pop down onto a house, and literally the first one, this was not planned. First one. So we're looking for stuff like this: boarded up, overgrown grass, just signs of distress, signs of beat up properties. And we're taking down the addresses, finding the homeowner's information, and then simply cold calling out to them. So here's another example. This one's boarded up. Grass is cut and everything, but it's still boarded up on the full bottom level. So you probably want to call that one. So you're just going up and down the streets, up and down the streets. We recommend starting with 100 records. So you should get 100 addresses written down and then call from there. Now, 100 addresses is definitely not enough, but just get started. Get started with the 100 addresses. And, because it sometimes could be time consuming. See, I've gone down a full street. I've only really gotten one. Stuff like maybe overgrown grass too, you can add in there, whatever the case is. But you want to find 100 of them. Once you call through the 100, grab another 100. It's going to take a little bit. You got to get used to cold calling, all that stuff. But that is it. So let's say, for example, let's see if we can find a beat up one down the street here. All right. So yeah, this one's perfect. All right. So what I do now from here is I like to zoom in, and then you'll see right here, 11635 Wallace. I like to then take the address, and I just try to make sure I'm not seeing any numbers. So what I'll do is I'll just search it on Google to make sure that I actually have the right one. So I got the lot. So I want this one here. So now once I've got this address, I take it over to Deal Machine. And once you've got Deal Machine pulled up, this is it. This is how you find the person's contact information. You put the address in, click on the property, and you'll see here, where is it? Why are there no contact info? We can't display. Oh, looks like we can't find contact info on this one because it's blocked or something like that. Let's try a different one. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Once you take it over to Deal Machine, it populates the homeowner's, right here, populates the homeowner's information. So Raymond King, and then the property address, and then you could skip trace it from there and begin cold calling them. A lot of the times too, I don't know if it's the subscription can, but yeah, a lot of the times too, you'll see the person's phone numbers, like the actual phone numbers, and then you just cold call. You just cold call them. That's it. So that's the first way, like we're generating these people, we're finding these people, getting in contact with them through cold calling. Now, the difference between this and what I'm about to show you is that when you get these people and you add them to your Deal Machine or you add them to your Google Sheet, you're using your cell phone to like call because this number is not going to come up as a spam phone number, whereas the other one might come up as a spam number. So it's really, really important to note, because if you get 100 records using this, you'll probably be able to get in touch with like 20, 30, 40 of them. Whereas with the Mojo, you get 100 records, you might only be able to get in touch with 10, 15, 20 of them because your numbers coming up as spam. Okay. So very, very simple. Get 100 addresses, get their homeowner information from Deal Machine. If you can't afford Deal Machine right now, it's $100 a month. But if you can't do it right away, I recommend doing True People Search. Get the phone numbers from there. Cold call them. Yo, I'm interested in buying the property at 123 Main Street. Are you interested in selling it? Boom, they say yes. That is it. Okay. Now, the second thing that I want to show you guys is a different way to do cold calling. It's cold calling, but it's a different way. Now, this is called the triple line dialer method. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with it. We get our data from Kind Skip Trace. Kind Skip Trace is not the best. It's not the worst, but it's good, affordable data. You know, you see right here, it says 10,000 records for 3 cents per skip trace. All right, that's $300 for 10,000 records. Now, you're going to get this data from them, and we recommend pulling an absentee owner list. You know, it's very simple. Go in here, start an account, no subscription or anything. You just only pay for the list. Start an account, go in there, pull an absentee owner list from your county, get 10,000 records. You're going to pay $300 for those. And then you're going to go and you're going to add this to a triple line dialer. Now, what a triple line dialer is this. We use Mojo Dialer. We find that it's the easiest one to set up. It's very like user-friendly, good interface. We like it. So I would take that list that Kind Skip Trace gives you, put that into Mojo. Once you're done uploading it to Mojo, you simply click this number. So I'm going to do like a little test run here. You simply click the number, let's say entire list, and there's going to be some settings that come up, and they explain it when you're setting up Mojo. But you'll see here the number of lines dialing for you. You can either do 1, 2, or 3. We do 3 lines when we call through the Kind Skip Trace list because there's 10,000 records. Okay, and let's say you know the reason we like this one is because you can get through a lot of data at once, but you don't want to put your best data here. So let's say you get in touch with even just 5% of the list. That's 500 people. That's 500 people you're getting in touch with using 3 lines at once. You probably call through that 10,000 records. If you're like really like, you know, 40 hours a week, probably get through that in a week, week and a half, 2 weeks, and then you redial through that. But same deal. You get on the phone with them. Hey, John, are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? Now, the only bad part about this is that your number comes up as spam. So you have a little, you have some more objections that you have to handle that way. But it's still a great marketing method. Mojo costs $150 a month. Kind Skip Trace $300 per list. So if you can afford that, highly, highly recommend it. Okay, and that's it, guys. Cam, go ahead, share back. There's some slides, some information on there, but we kind of covered it. That is
totally. I kind of want to just recap on everything. So that is how we're getting that. Those are all the ways that you can get your list. People are like, oh, I don't want to drive for dollars. Okay, you don't drive for dollars. Here's the list that you can pull. Use Kind Skip Tracing. Pull a list of, you know, tired landlords, absentee owners. You know, you don't even have to use Kind Skip Tracing. You can use PropStream, Deal Machine, all those other sites to pull lists. And then if you need to skip trace and find the contact information of these homeowners, and you know, you can use Deal Machine. If you can't use Deal Machine, you don't have the money, use True People Search. And I dropped all these links in the chat. So the people that are asking, what is the deal? What is the website for this? I dropped everything right here. So Kind Skip Tracing, Mojo Sells, True People Search, and then you also got Deal Machine. So 0 excuses on not knowing where to actually get your leads. You got free ways to do it, and you got paid ways to do it. You got, you know, a little more ambitious ways to do it, and then you got lazier ways to do it. So guys, make sure you're taking those notes on how to get the leads, how to find the houses, how to get the contact information, and how to actually call them. Those are the 3 main things that I want to make sure you have on your notes. And if you have that in your notes, your chances of winning that giveaway are very, very high. So make sure you write that down. Sorry for rambling, but here we go. We're back here. This slide?
Actionables. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So like Cam was saying, they both work. There's no secret sauce to this. The second part, the month 2, that's the secret sauce. That's where you actually get the deal. But month 1, you have to do this. Otherwise, you can't do what we're going to talk about in month 2. So the point is you need to get as many people that are interested in selling their house in a list to call. Okay. Now, the targets we're looking for are calls made. So 550 calls a week. Total over the 1 month period or over the 12-week period of time. That should say, sorry about that. That should say 4 weeks. So 4 weeks, 550 calls. Connections with homeowners, 300 for the month. And then you should generate about 50 leads. Okay. 50 leads. That's the starting point. Obviously, as you're generating leads, make sure to do what we talk about in month 2. But this should be your main focus all of month 1. Primary focus. All right. Let's segue into.
Yeah, guys, and the numbers are here. Like, we're not just making up these numbers and putting them on here. Like, that's the beauty of wholesale real estate, that there's already industry standard numbers that, you know, most people in this industry are hitting. You know, if you're making that amount of calls, you know, generating that amount of leads, you know, there's going to be, you know, a reward behind actually getting that. And that is going to be a deal closed after generating those 50 leads. I'll keep going. Right here.
Yep. All right. Perfect. Month 2, guys, this is the secret sauce. This is what everyone's wondering. It's not about the list. It's not about the cash buyers. It's how you actually get the deal under contract. This is what Cam and I are very, very, very good at doing. Okay, so let's ramp into this section. So just a quick little overview. We're going to go over how we qualify the lead. So once you get someone that said, yeah, I'm interested in selling, how do we determine they're a good lead? The next thing is, how do we make the offer? And then the last thing is, how do we get our contract signed? Okay. These 3 steps, guys, once you've got month 1 nailed down, and some of you might nail down month 1 really within the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So props to you guys. Move on to month 2. But month 2 is the most important part. Okay. Let's get into it. All right. So our acquisition process. This is the point from where you take someone that's interested to the point of, yes, I want to sell my house to you. All right. Very, very simple process. It's a 4-step process, 3-call process that we typically follow. The first thing is the qualification process. We just want to know, are you a good lead or are you a bad lead? If you're a bad lead, we don't want to talk to you. If you're a good lead, we want to talk to you. Second part is, if you're a good lead, we go in and we start running the numbers. The third part is the offer. How do we make the offer? Very, very easy. A lot of the work's done on the qualification call and the follow-up, but we'll go through the offer process. The last section is the contract process. How do we actually get someone to sign the contract? All right. So first things first is, how do we determine if a lead is a good lead? It's based off 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are the condition, the timeline, the motivation, and the price. Okay. So with our qualification framework, we always like to just do a quick introduction. We like to tell them who we are, what we want to talk about, how long it's going to take, and what they get at the end of the call. So a lot of you guys probably, like, you know, you've seen people door knocking or whatever at grocery stores trying to sell some, you know, BS. And they just like come up to you and just like the worst way. Hey, excuse me, you got like 4 minutes for me? And every time they just get shut down. They're like, no. At least if you're me. And that's what pretty much happens on these cold calls. And that's why we do the intro. We want to tell them, like, hey, I'm not a threat, essentially. We want to lower their guard in a way, and that's what the introduction does. So what it sounds like is, hey, Cam, it's Ethan. I'm reaching out about 123 Main Street, curious about selling. Cam's going to say yes. Okay, great. That sounds good. Typically, the call goes for about 5-6 minutes. Just want to learn a bit about the condition of the property, and then what you're looking to get for it, and anything else that's relevant. And then by the end of the call, I'll go ahead and let you know if you're going to be a good fit. If you are, we'll go ahead and run some numbers and make you an offer. That's it. We're telling them what we're going to do, how long that's going to take. That's it. All right.
Yeah, guys. And before you get into the 4 pillars, you know, I did see someone in there asking, like, oh, what if the property's fully renovated, or like, what are you looking for? And what's a good lead? What's a good lead, guys? They're all very important. The condition, it really does not matter if it's fully renovated or not. We're just looking for deals that can make us money. So if they're willing to sell for a discounted price, that's really all we're that's all we're truly looking for at the end of the day. So we can actually have that spread to make money. So if you get a renovated house, or if you get a really shitty house, all you want to do is make sure that they are willing and able to sell. There's a motivation to sell, and it's actually for a good price. And obviously you need to get the condition just so you can understand if the values add up. And then price, you want to make sure that they're asking a good price. So don't be scared to make an offer on a renovated home or anything like that.
Yeah, totally.
How do you know it's a discounted price? We get into that once we run our numbers. So after the whole qualification process, how do we know if it's a discounted price? We go ahead and we run our numbers, and we'll be able to show you how you know it's a discounted price. So I'll let you get back to it.
Cool. All right. So after the introduction, we're going through the 4 pillars. 4 pillars are very important, like Cam was saying. The first thing is condition. Condition, we don't need it necessarily if there's photos, right? But the reason we go through condition is because that's what determines whether the property is worth $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million, right? Because every single home, depending on the condition, is going to vary. And there's no photos on the properties because these are off-market deals that we're acquiring. Now, the second thing is timeline. When are you ready to make a decision? If they're not ready to make a decision, then don't make an offer. That's it. That's why we want to know what the timeline is. The third part is motivation. Motivation is where can we actually add value? If the person, and like Cam was saying, this is how we determine whether it's a good or a bad lead. If the person is like, yeah, everything's going good. I've got a helicopter pad in my backyard. I fly to work every day, and I do whatever I want when I want. Not going to work for us. Now, if Carl down the street owns a beat up house, and he's like, yeah, I'm behind on my mortgage. My other house, I have a squatter in it. Blah blah blah. Like that's who we're looking for, and because we can provide value to them. The other guy we can't provide value to. The next part is the price. The reason we want to know about the price is for the offer call, because that's what we use to anchor them. Okay. And then once we've gotten the 4 pillars, think of the qualification calls informational gathering call, gathering information to make a decision. Because you can't just go blindly buy a car without going to see it, knowing how many miles it has on it, what it looks like, what color it is. That's what we're basically doing here. The next thing is the deal killers. Deal killers. Who is going to kill my deal, or what is going to kill my deal? There's so many times, and this is also known as like pre-handling objections. This is important for the offer call, because when you make the offer, there's people that are going to say, oh, I need to think about it. What do you need to think about? And then they're going to use something to try to score them out of the situation. You're going to pre-handle it this way. So they can't say, oh, I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to this person. And that's why we go through decision makers. Who has influence on the decision? If they have influence, bring them onto the offer call. The next thing, and the last thing, is procrastination poison. These are things that could potentially stop them from being able to make a decision. Maybe a tenant, maybe a family member that's looking to purchase the property. You want to address these deal killers up front prior to making the offer, so they can't come back and squirm out of that offer call. Okay. Now at this point, if you've determined, yeah, they're going to be a good lead for me, you want to schedule a follow-up call, and you go into actually running your numbers. Past the point of running your numbers, you go and you make the offer, the contract call, etc. And that is it. But guys, this is like the most important part. If there's one thing for month 2 to get really good at, is this: information gathering on your lead. Because the more you learn about them, the better you're going to be able to help them. And because you're helping them in a better way, whether it's buying their house, selling it, whatever the case is, if you're helping them out in a better way, it's like that cliche thing. If you give value first, you'll get value back eventually at one point or another. That's essentially what this is. Okay. So that is qualifying a lead.
Yep. And guys, the reason why we have these deal killers is because we don't, these people that we're talking to, they're interested in selling a property, but they've yet to list it on the market. Why? Because they're professional procrastinators. So you got to make sure you're tying certain things down. Is there anybody who's going to have an influence on this decision? Is there anything else you need to figure out before you actually accept an offer? If there's any of that, then make sure that stuff gets figured out. Maybe even help them get that stuff figured out So then you can make that offer, and there's no excuses on not getting a yes or no. That's really what we want at the end of the day on that offer. When we go to make that offer, is a solid yes or no. And I think I need to think about it. It's a smoke screen. You did something wrong. You didn't gather enough information. You jumped the gun too early to make an offer, and you screwed up. So that's why we like these tie downs and asking those. But let's keep it moving.
Cool. So for the running of numbers, it's a bit longer. So we're going to go through this information first. And then at the tail end, when we get closer to the Q&A, we're going to run a bunch of comps within our business. Okay. So that's qualifying the lead. The next part is making the offer. So at this point, you've already ran your numbers. Running your numbers is very easy. We're going to go through that. But you're looking for comps. You're looking for comparable properties, similar to a car. If the car that you're looking at has 10,000 miles, but you're trying to negotiate with the dealership on a price for a car that has 100,000 miles, well, you're way off. Okay. So we're going to go over that concept. Now, once you've ran your numbers, you're going to go in and you're going to start making an official offer to the motivated seller. Keyword, motivated seller. They have no reason to sell. They're not serious about selling. Don't make them an offer. Okay. So this is the framework. Same deal here. Hey, Cam, it's Ethan calling you back about 123 Main Street. Is now a good time to speak about the offer on 123 Main Street? Cam's like, yeah. All right, perfect. On the call, generally, we like to talk about obviously what the offer is, but before we get into that, I want to talk about what it looks like to work with us and then next steps if you decided to accept the offer. Cam's like, okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. And that, like I said, takes about 5-6 minutes. By the end of the call, we would like, some sort of decision. If you can't make that, we can go from there, but let's get into it. Now, we've set the stage. They know what they're going to get. They know how long it's going to take, etc. They don't need to rush you off the phone. Okay. So you've set the stage. Every single call, you guys should do that. Now, the next part is, are they ready to make decisions? Are they ready to accept an offer? And then you get into the actual offer. But the second pillar to the framework about what is next is just explaining what the next steps are. Because you might make an offer to someone and they might agree to it, but then they say, oh, well, next steps, I need to do this, I need to do that, I got to figure this out, I got to figure that out. All right. You want to tell them, you want to guide them to the end result that you're looking for. So what I like to say, what our team likes to say is, hey, by the end of the call, if you do decide to move forward with things, this is first, I'm going to go ahead and send over a purchase agreement to your email. Second, we're both going to look through it together. Third, I'm going to answer any questions that you have. And then fourth, we'll go ahead, get initials and signatures, send that to the title company, and we'll connect you with our transaction coordinator. All right, that is it. We're going through those 4 pieces. All you want to make sure they know is that they're going to look over the agreement with you. You're going to answer their questions, and they're going to sign the contract.
And guys, this might seem like it's boring stuff. Like this isn't teaching me anything about wholesale real estate, but believe it or not, this stuff right here, neglecting it is why so many people lose out on deals. They'll be like, oh, they accepted my offer, but I sent them the contract. I've been waiting 3 weeks for them to sign it. Buddy, you lost that deal. You didn't take control of the conversation. You weren't showing that you're an expert in your field, really controlling everything within the process, and you fucked up. So as boring as this stuff might sound, this is how you actually take control of your deals and actually get them closed.
Exactly. It's the simple things. Like everyone says, always simple things. All right. So once you've got that out of the way, now you want to ask them, are you ready to make a decision? Cam, are you ready to make a decision if the offer sounds good?
Yep.
Cam's like, yep. Okay, perfect. Now, we always set them with a price anchor. That ties back to the qualification call. Let's say Cam wanted $200,000 for his house, but I want to offer him $150,000. Okay, this is what I do. Cam, listen, after going through everything with the team, after looking over the deal, realistically, I know you want to be at $200,000, but for me, in a perfect world, and I'm not saying this is where I need to be at, but in a perfect world, I want to be around 125 for the property. That said, though, I can come up to 150. All right, when you say the 125, that sets the price anchor for the 150, because now they're like, oh, well, Cam's coming up an extra, or Ethan's coming up an extra $25,000 for me. Wow. Okay, that is it. And then let's say they do decide to accept an offer, then you get into scheduling the next call, which should be immediately after that, really. Type the contract up, send it over to their email, and then you guys should be looking through that together, like no more than 15 minutes later. All right. And that is it. That is simply it. As long as you set the frame on this call, you're not going to have any problems with the contract call. So now actionable steps for month number 2. Month number 2, you can't do without marketing, which we just went through month number 1. All right. So same numbers here. Messed up the week again, but 550 calls a week for 4 weeks. And then if you could continue doing it over and over for 12 weeks straight. Connections, you should have about 300. So 300 for every 4 weeks, and then generate about 50 leads every 4 weeks as well. Okay. Now past that point, the acquisition KPIs, this is related to month number 2. So from those 50 leads that you generated, you should get information. Qualified lead means you're getting information. 2 out of 4 of those pillars. Get information from 35 of them. Now, if you have the ability to do in-person appointments, we highly, highly, highly recommend it. Go on about 10 in-person appointments from those 35 leads or qualified leads. And then you should be making about 15 to 20 offers, and that should get you about 1 contract signed. Guys, we've coached hundreds of people right now inside of our inner circle that Cam and I have. I mean, these are the exact numbers that they follow. Same information. And I mean, they're getting results. Go on in-person appointments, make offers, put in the work. That is it. That's month number 2, guys. Now, going back real quick, in-person appointments, can't stress this enough, but if they are serious and they are motivated to sell, go on an in-person appointment. Our team right now, every 2 appointments we go on, we get 1 contract back in. So that's a 50% close rate when we're in person. Very, very good numbers. All right. Keep going.
Quick pulse check. Comment yes if everything is still clear. Is everything still clear, guys? We got about 300 plus people in here. I want to make sure that this stuff is still making sense. So comment yes if this is making sense. Just a quick pulse check. Let's see how long it takes for it to roll. Okay, perfect. Fantastic. It's all making sense. We got some kind ofs. We'll make sure that we tie everything down at the end and make sure that this is all making sense. But
yeah, and stay to the end too, because we're going to do a Q&A. So any questions that you guys have, we're going to do in Q&A. This is like live. It's not recorded. So we're going to get to your specific questions. All right. Month number 3, guys, quite honestly, I'm going to speed through this part because buyers, this is the easiest part. It's like saying to someone, hey, I've got a Lamborghini that's worth $250,000. I'm going to sell it to you for $150,000. Like I'm going to find the $150,000 to buy the Lamborghini and then flip it for $250,000. That's all you're doing. All right. So misconception, guys, like I said from the beginning, don't start at month 1 or don't start at month 3. Start at month 1. So that means don't find buyers first, find sellers first. Now, another misconception is all these areas to find buyers. It's so easy. It's so easy, guys. We're going direct to source. We don't go to PropStream. We don't go to Facebook, and we don't trade lists with cash buyers. It is those ways are laughable. Those are the worst ways. That's what your online guru on YouTube tells you to do. It's not the right way. So let's go over here. All right, this is here. Let me go to an area a lot of people probably know. Let's go to Englewood. Okay, and I'm going to break another misconception while we're at it too here. Englewood, one of the most dangerous areas in Chicago, let alone one of the most dangerous areas in like the world. This is O Block here. If you guys listen to any of that type of music or know of that place. But what we do is we go to sold properties within the last year, 12 months, sort it high to low, and you start looking. You start looking at the photos. Boom, renovated. Boom, renovated. No photos. Listed, literally listed, renovated. All right, here's your cash buyers. These are not everyday people making their houses look really nice like that. That's not the case. All right. So what we do is we go over to the owner tools on Zillow. You can do this on Redfin also, but this is also a good source. Listing courtesy of Claudia. All right. Claudia listed this. She's a listing agent, so she knows the person that is selling it, which is the buyer. Call Claudia. Hey, Claudia, are you interested in selling, or is your buyer interested in buying another one of these so that you could sell it for $415,000 and get, a big commission from it too? All right. So you can go through that, scrape all these people, start reaching out to them. Hey, I've got a deal in the area. I saw that you sold one. Do you have any buyers that are interested? Next thing, go low to high. Look at these. I mean, I don't know about you, but my mom, dad, they're not investors, and I've never seen them even think about buying one of these. Only an investor bought this. That's it. Only investors are buying these. Now check it
guys,
out.
it is not hard to find investors, guys. Think about don't stress too hard on finding buyers, because there's always going to be real estate investors, and there's always going to be people looking for a good deal to buy. So that all you need to focus on is finding those good deals, because they're gonna be there. The buyers are there. They're right in front of your face.
They are right there.
Couldn't be more simple. And if that was a little bit too much of a speed run, I did an entire video on my YouTube channel specifically on finding buyers and building your buyers list. So don't trip. Don't worry. Cam's here to save the day. That is how you're going to find your buyers.
All right. So that is it, guys. That's the 90-day blueprint. That is it. All right. Month one, go ahead, take a screenshot of it. Month one, all it is, generate buyer leads. That's it. Generate people generate seller leads. Generate people that said, yes, I want to sell my house. Month two, take the people that said they want to sell their house, qualify them, make as many offers as you can, and then put something under contract. Month three, find a cash buyer, schedule a closing date, and you are done. That is it, guys. That is it. 3 steps to actually being successful in the business. This is 90 days of focus. If you can put 90 days of focus into this, that means you genuinely want to change your situation that you're in right now, whether it's going from bad to good or from good to great. It takes 90 days of focus, guys. That is it. We see time and time again, people just changing their lives. We have some of our guys out here, and we'll talk about it later on the Q&A. But take a screenshot. Hopefully that helped you guys. Month 1, 2, 3, put some focus there.
Yeah, guys, keep in mind, like, most people think wholesaling is literally rocket science. We just explained the basic ground floor of everything in about 30 minutes. It's really not that hard, guys. And proof is in the fucking progress. It's not that hard. Caleb Holte, he came in, got his first deal closed within about 2 months, JV'd with somebody as well, and made an easy like 7.5 to 10K. And he was working a regular like sales job and wanted to do something on his own, and then found an even better opportunity just from starting wholesaling. Another person, Rob Carey, absolute savage out in Florida, and was able to move to downtown Miami, started traveling all throughout Colombia and the entire world because he started doing this. This is when he closed his first deal, $20K assignment fee, and ended up JVing with somebody else. So he made $10,000. Now we're going to show you how I was actually able to change our lives. Like, so you guys actually know what is possible. Here's me, typical average Joe. I was going to school to be a dental hygienist. I vividly remember being in math class, looking up, what do I got to do to go to school for the least amount of years, but for me to make an average income? Guys, I had such a normie mindset. I was okay, which is okay if you're out there. I was okay with willing to make 60 to 70K a year by cleaning people's teeth for a living. Like, I was willing to really fucking settle. I was waking up, drinking a Twisted Tea right when I wake up, washing dishes since I was 15 years old, working at Bona Beef, going out every single night while I was in college. Guys, I was an average freaking Joe. But then something clicked. I got my heart broken by a girl. Girl broke my heart. I did the most basic bitch thing you can do. I went and bought a puppy. But this is what I needed. I needed something. I needed a fire under my ass to actually piss me off. This wasn't going to cut it. Like, this life that I was on, it wasn't going to get me to where I truly wanted to be in life. And I really wanted to just not be that average Joe anymore. And I was putting it out there, for people to see, I'm sad. I'm basically pissed off, but there's going to be a change. And I promise you there is going to be a change. First off, just look at these dates here. This is when I got my heart broken, July 26, 2020. And then here's when I moved into my new apartment in downtown Chicago after sticking with it. July 22nd, 2021. A year later, I was down bad, feeling like I hit rock bottom. I'm writing down my affirmations. I'm writing down all my goals. I'm writing, I'm putting out promises to the world on the internet saying like 2021 is going to be the year that I prove to everybody that, that was a huge mistake that if you decided to throw me to the curb. Sure, was I trying to like subtweet at my ex? Sure, whatever. But you just need to find that flame, that fire to put under your ass so you can get that first deal closed like I did right here. And then so you can be able to move out of your hometown and really start, making a change in your life. And then just doing more and more crazier stuff. Months later, me and Ethan are in Miami on a 100-foot boat, closing $30,000 there, $30,000 here, going to after parties and meeting people like Aiden Ross and all these other rappers. Like, this isn't trying to flex or, flaunt on you guys, but this is just to show you what is possible. Look at the dates. This was 5/18. This was 7/16. This was, 7/22. Like, guys, I'm telling you, your life can change very fucking fast, but you got to put in the work. And unfortunately, I do have some bad news for you guys. 95% of you on this call are going to take this information and do absolutely nothing with it. Having the concept down is great, but putting it into action is a whole different story. Let me tell you, from our experience, putting your first property under contract can be hectic, to say the least. And on our journey, we made a ton of mistakes. What we accomplished in 3 years should have taken us about half the time. And we see so many people quit after making just one mistake. After seeing all the money us, me and Ethan, and all of our students make with wholesaling, you know what's possible. But are you absolutely positive that you can do this on your own? That's the question you need to ask. Here's the deal. Wholesaling, super simple on paper, but in practice, it does require a lot of sacrifice. If you don't have the correct guidance, people keeping you accountable and support, it can be a huge sacrifice. We watch about 90% of people give up very quickly. But on the other hand, the 10% of people who stick with it have a shot to unlock financial freedom forever. And at this point, we obviously practice what we preach every single day. So we have the opportunity to be able to give back to you guys and have you learn from our mistakes. It took us a few years, but if we taught you, we're confident that we can cut that down to just a few months. So we wanted to create a product that would basically allow us to have that impact on you. And it works. Gabe and Charlie closed a deal in 30 days off of Craigslist, made $12K profit, under our guidance. 30 days. They were trying to close a deal for an entire year, didn't, came under our guidance, and they closed a deal within 30 days, guys. Here's what their first few weeks looked like. They were on our live training just like you guys. Him and his partner tried wholesaling for over a year, didn't really see much progress. Within just a few weeks, we gave them the resources that they needed, and they closed their first deal ever and added $12K within weeks, guys. And now they're in a position where they're going to change their life forever. This skill set, this industry will change lives. And we want you to be next. Comment me in the chat if you want to be next right now. If you want to be next, comment me in the chat right freaking now. Here's some more wins from them. Here they are holding up just, 2 new contracts a few weeks later. These deals should net them about 55K roughly. They're 20 and 21 years old, guys. 20 and 21 years old. There's no excuse for you to not be able to do the same exact thing. Christian attended the live training just like you not too long ago. Already has a deal under contract. This deal should net him roughly 10K profit when all said and done. Well, I lied. Christian recently closed it out, made $24,000. Look at this. He joined November 2nd, got his first property under contract November 23rd, and he closed it out January 13th. 2 months, and he made $24,000. More wins. Raphael attended the live training, closed a $30,000 deal. He was in your guys' exact position not too long ago. You can go ahead and screenshot this and really read how it was actually able to change his life. This was one that is very special to our heart because him and his family were not in a good financial situation. They were on the verge of losing a house, but since he closed his $30,000 deal, he was able to save his family from losing his house. Insanity. Donald learned everything, wholesaled the house to me and Ethan for $10,000. He found a house, me and Ethan liked it. He locked it up for about $70,000, and then he sold it to us for $80,000. He got paid $10,000. Crazy. There's nothing stopping you from doing the same exact thing. Christian, Gabe, Raphael, all the other killers inside of our program are no different than you besides one thing. They took initiative. They made a small investment in coaching We give them all the information, guidance, and strategies that they needed, and they just hit the ground running. As simple as that. And as we explained before, this isn't going to be an opportunity that lasts forever. And as more people learn about this, there's going to be more competition. Again, there's an amazing opportunity window today, and the market is just now realizing how powerful this model is. Don't let this be another opportunity you look back on and think, what if? Because we're telling you it won't be this easy forever. We have something for you all. For sticking through this entire live training, we have an amazing opportunity for you guys. This opportunity will allow anybody to get an A to Z roadmap that will show anybody step by step how to put your first property under contract, and then the next 5, 10, 15, and then 20 properties. Guys, long-term success with wholesaling is so obtainable once you get that first property under contract. Comment me in the chat if you want this right now. Comment me right now if you want this. What is it that we have for you guys, though? What we have for you is the one solution that we needed back in the day to close our first deal in 90 days or less, instead of the months and months that it took us. Every lesson that we learned the hard way, but now you don't have to. This opportunity single-handedly could take literally anybody to multiple 5-figure profit deals with wholesaling. This opportunity is what would have kept us accountable in our wholesaling journey. It's what would have given us every last bit of information we needed to close deals quickly and effectively. It's what would have given us that community we needed to keep each other sharp and network with a bunch of other savage wholesalers. And ultimately, it would have gotten us to where we are today in half the freaking time. The opportunity. We're going to open up a few application spots for you to book straight onto our calendar and apply for our Inner Circle coaching program. Typically, we're declining about like 70 to 80% of the applications we get. But since you stuck through this entire training, you're going to be able to book straight onto our calendar to see if you'd be a good fit for Shot Caller's Inner Circle. Now, imagine if you had access to this, a private network where you get direct access to both of us, all of our internal systems, processes, tech, lists, etc. We basically hold your hand through everything, and you get access to a private network of other wholesalers that you can learn with and learn from. We call this our Inner Circle for a reason, because everybody in this circle is ahead of 99% of the beginner wholesalers trying to do everything on their own. Now, person number one, aka this probably isn't for you. You're not 100% sure that you want to start in wholesale real estate. You're not willing to put in 10 to 15 hours a week minimum to implement what we teach you. You're not coachable or accountable and don't see the point in investing in coaching from 7-figure wholesalers. You're not looking to change your financial situation. And lastly, you don't have at least $2,500 on hand to invest in coaching and starting up your wholesaling business. And unfortunately, this opportunity is not for you. Now, person number two, this opportunity is meant for you. You're ready to change your financial situation once and for all. You have that flame under your ass. You're ready to make that change. You're ready to follow our lead and become our next 6-figure wholesaler inside of our program. And you're ready to invest in yourself and your business and have at least $2,500 set aside to invest into the startup costs. Then this is for you. And if you sound like person two, I want you to click the link on your screen and book an application call for Shot Caller's Inner Circle right freaking now. Do it right now. Click that button on your screen. Get it going right now. Now, who are you going to be speaking with? When you book, you'll be speaking to one of my student success coaches who have helped hundreds of people on the journey of closing the first deal just like you. Then they'll make sure you're a good fit to join, answer any last minute questions. So even if you're still kind of on the fence, if this is for you or not, that's what that calls for, to really make sure that this is a good fit for the both of us. We're able to help you and, you're really going to give it your all to us and answer any last minute questions. So be sure to book. And then you'll be under our wing and we'll start on the path to getting your first deal under contract together, guys. Now, if you are admitted, here's everything that you're going to be getting access to. That full A to Z blueprint designed to take you from complete beginner to expert wholesaler in 90 days or less. This needs to be 4. We got 4 weekly group calls where we share exactly what we're doing and how you can use our strategies, access to a private community of hungry wholesalers, access to all the internal systems and everything that you won't be able to find anywhere else, one-on-one support via DM with me and Ethan, and then one-on-one support coach to schedule unlimited one-on-one calls with. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but the biggest things that you guys need to be looking at right here is the 4 weekly group calls and that one-on-one support coach. Guys, I'm saying you can book unlimited one-on-one calls. I don't know about you guys, but whenever me and Ethan invested into mentorships, we wanted to always make sure that it was one-to-one. Like us on a call with the coach, the expert. That is what you are getting with this. And this isn't some guy that's off the streets. This is one of the individuals who is running our business for us to be able to not even lift a finger to close a deal. Me and Ethan, like we said before, we're basically making magic internet money now because we were able to, optimize to have this wholesaling business operate out on its own. So that is who you're going to be booking one-on-one calls with, and you get 4 week. Oh, damn it, updated. You get 4 weekly group calls where we're getting on 4 weekly group calls with you where we can share everything together. And it's us bringing the questions to you, not you bringing the questions to us. Of course, we'll answer your questions, but we want to ask you questions so we understand what we need to tell you and to basically give you a diagnosis on how you're going to be able to get to that 6-figure income or that $1 million income through wholesale real estate. So let's sweeten up the deal a little bit. If you book a call tonight and join, you will be receiving these fast action bonuses. Number one, no matter what package is best for you, you'll be getting 20% off of your investment because you're on this live call. This is a one-time offer, guys. I don't ever do this. Just because you were on this call tonight, you're going to be getting 20% off of this investment because you're here tonight. So take advantage of this, guys. We don't do this often. And if you are still here and you were already past the training, you're still here, clearly there's something there. There's some sort of interest. There's some sort of want to be able to work with us. Take advantage of this 20% off, guys. I appreciate the fuck out of you guys for sticking through the entire thing, still being here now. So if you are still here, go ahead, click the button on your screen and take advantage of this 20% off because this is not something that we're going to be doing often. Now, software setup, the second fast action bonus, a custom CRM that will ensure no deals slip through the cracks. Guys, a lot of people when they start wholesaling, they're on pieces of paper, they're on Google Docs, they're on Google Sheets, they're writing down phone numbers on a piece of paper. And I'm sorry, I'm probably calling most of the people out on this call right now because that's what you're doing. You need a CRM and not any sort of CRM because CRMs need to get built out. We've already done that for you. We've already done the hard work of building out that CRM, and only people within the inner circle can ever get access to this custom CRM. So you will also be able to get access to this to make sure that no deals slip through the cracks. A KPI tracker, guys. This is all numbers game. Like I said before, one of the biggest reasons why I liked wholesaling, why I got into it is because I'm a numbers guy. I like to see the numbers. Oh, so I got to make X amount of calls, make X amount of offers, and that's what's going to give me a deal. Well, I need to be able to track these numbers. So that's why we have this custom tool that will help you track your sales numbers so you know if you're on pace to actually get that deal closed in under 90 days or less. This is huge, guys. This is super important. You need this to be successful. Sales process map. A step-by-step sequence of events that you need to follow that will happen to ensure that you can lock up a consistent 8 to 10 contracts per month. Guys, a sales process map. We kind of went through it slightly, but we want to make sure that we can give it to you in way more in depth than we were able to on this, hour-long training. The sales process map, everything that you need to know from getting that lead in to actually getting the contract signed. There's a lot that can happen there. So that means that there's a lot that can get fucked up. We want to make sure that that is not going to happen to you. Like, for instance, there's a reason why a mechanic shop can get 10 oil changes done in the same amount of time where you can get one. They have a system in place. They have a process in place to be able to do that. Kind of the same thing with this. We have a process to ensure that you can get way more contracts signed. We want you to follow it. You need it. You deserve to know about it. You've been sticking through the entire training. You're here at the end of this. You deserve to know about this. Now, here's everything that you're going to be able to get tonight. Take a screenshot of it if you'd like. Guys, the biggest thing, 20% off of the investment to be able to join the inner circle. One-time offer. If you are still here, take advantage of that. That is the biggest thing I'd have to say. Now, here's why we're confident that you will see success. Cassidy Cano, from ER nurse to a wholesaler, and his wife is as proud of him as ever. I don't know if you are able to see, but he closed about a $14,000 deal with us. And, he was able to close out more and more and more, but this was the first one. And here's his wife, reposting a video that I made about him online saying like from ER nurse to a real estate, wholesaler investor. Like, I'm so proud of you. How cool is that? Imagine investing into a program to learn how to make more money. It actually works out. And like your wife, the number one person in your life, girlfriend, wife, is posting about you, bragging online. Like I'm getting tagged, from Cassidy's wife on a regular basis because she's so fucking proud of him. Imagine that. You buy into a program, it works, you start making money, you make $50,000. You can quit your day job as an ER nurse, and you become a full-time wholesale real estate investor, and your wife is just posting about you all the time. That is a sick feeling, and that is something that is always going to stick with me because we're changing lives on a regular fucking basis, guys. I want to be able to help you next. Book a call right now on that screen. Again, here's another person, Aiden Rossetti. First contract signed tonight over the phone with Logan's help. Now, who's Logan? That's the one-on-one support coach, guys. He literally stayed up till like 9 p.m. helping Mr. Aiden Rossetti get his first contract signed. He basically got it signed for him. The treatment that you get within the inner circle is unbeatable compared to anything else. Book that call right now. Here's Dylan getting a nice contract signed. You can't see the numbers here. $2,500. Also made a quick $2,500 there. Remember that checklist that we gave you before, guys? Month one, pinpointing the hidden pocket motivated sellers. We got the identical data that we pull, but in your market. It's not prop stream, it's not batch leads. Setting up systems for inbound to generate leads. Access to our customized CRM, fully automated. Everything that was within that checklist, we're able to help you guys out. Getting that first contract in. One-on-one hand holding, 4 times a week with our sales manager. 2 weekly group calls on how to master the offer process and hours of video modules. That's how you're going to be able to master making offers, acquiring those 4 pillars. Hours and hours of sales training broken down step by step. Everything you need within that checklist that you screenshotted, this inner circle that we're going to be able to offer to you tonight is going to speed this up 10 some. And I promise that. Now, what we've learned at this stage, the biggest thing that we've learned is that time is money, guys. It's not rocket science. Time is money. Your lack of taking action with wholesaling is costing you $5K, $10K, $15,000 a month profit because your lack of knowing how to make money with wholesaling is actually taking money out of your pockets. You've seen our students' results. One investment could have a crazy impact on your life if you put the work in that we tell you to. And as more people learn about this, there's going to be more competition. Do you want this to be yet another rabbit hole that you dug down and just never took action on? Oh, you tried dropshipping. Oh, you tried copywriting. Oh, you tried growth operating. You tried this, you tried that. There's all these business models. Do you want this to be yet another one that you just dug down like 80% into and just never took action? Or do you finally want to bet on yourself, have experts coach you every step of the way, and finally start making the money that you always dreamed of? My perspective, in order to make it in life, you have to lock in and commit to one thing for 12 months. And most of you guys have this analysis paralysis. Guys, honestly, here's the truth. Everything works. Everything works. Copywriting, it works. Drop shipping, it works. Growth operating, it works. Everything works, guys. But you have that analysis paralysis. Every business model works, but they all have varying odds of success. Your odds of being the next big drop shipper or copywriter are maybe 10%, but it's possible. It's possible. I'd be ignorant to say that it's not possible. Your odds of making 6 figures a year with wholesaling is much higher, especially if you invest in the cheat code of the inner circle. The main thing holding most of you back is that you literally can't pick a path. Let it end here. Allow yourself to pick a path tonight. Book that call right now and get those last few questions answered with one of our success coaches and really see if this can change your life or not. Let me just have a big bro Cam moment. You just need to start taking action on something. Man, girl, bro, whatever you want me to say. You need to start taking action on something. Most of you guys have never really applied yourself to anything fully. You just can't go back. You just can't go back to the whole self-improvement, David Goggins, YouTube rabbit hole again after tonight. That stuff will never actually get you rich. The only thing that will is sticking to one thing and really giving it your all. And tonight you have a chance to do that while we support you through the entire thing. The entire thing. This should kill your analysis paralysis, honestly. This should end it totally. Trading, stocks, crypto, dropshipping, copywriting, agency. Not hating on them. I just think that there's a lot easier ways to make money. I'm not me neither. We weren't the sharpest tools in the box. So why are we going to make it harder for ourselves by picking something else that's hard? Why are you going to make it hard for yourself by picking something else that's hard that has a lot of risk or a lot of capital needed, or you don't even know what the profit per month can be and the skill sets needed are very, very high? Why do that to yourself? Why not pick something that is actually, very easy, like capital needed, very low. The risk associated is very low. The profit, very high. Skill sets, very low. Why wouldn't you? This should kill your analysis paralysis. And again, with the whole product-based and service-based businesses, and then you have wholesale real estate. Business is all about supply and demand. We have two things, real estate and real estate investors. They're never going away. And is it hard to stand out? No, because people are too lazy to actually become wholesalers most of the time. They don't realize what it actually takes. They think it's rocket science. I just gave you the golden ticket, guys. I just showed you a business model that is unsaturated, very profitable. Your supply is an asset that people will buy until the end of time, and your demand is real estate investors who will always have money and be looking to buy. Then I showed you how to do it. And now I'm giving you an opportunity to literally work with me and just copy the way that I'm making money while I coach you. No brainer, guys. It's a no brainer. At this point, you have a choice. You saw the mistakes that we made when we were coming up, and now you see what's possible. You also see how our students are absolutely crushing it under our guidance. Do you want this? Do you want to go through all of the trial and error yourself and probably end up just giving up once you hit one little road bump? Or do you want to fast track your success like Christian, Gabe, Raphael, and all the other killers within our program? You want Ethan and I by your side every single step of the way? We'll give you all the information and resources you need to succeed. And on top of that, we'll keep you accountable every single step of the way. 4 weekly group calls, a one-on-one coach, unlimited calls that you can book with him. It's a no-brainer, guys. If you're so serious about succeeding that it hurts you inside, that you are not where you think you should be, we want you to book a call to join our inner circle right now. Right now. Book a call tonight if you understand it's called Inner Circle for a reason. We're doing this every day. You get to learn from us in real time, get to where we are in half the time, because you should be able to avoid 90% of the mistakes that we made just because we're working so closely with you and with us and being trained by experts in this industry. This opportunity is ultimately the best opportunity that we've seen for someone to make money as a beginner in real estate. You're setting yourself up to be at the top of the real estate totem pole eventually, but there's a lot of moving parts. We wasted years making mistakes that would have been easy to avoid. They cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, a lot of anxiety, and years off of our life. Right now, you have an opportunity to avoid all of that. Like, you don't even understand what I'm picturing in my head, all the stuff that we had to go through to get here today. It's a little bit of a smoke screen for you guys, but understand it was hectic. Tears, cries, staying up late, freaking the fuck out. Like, you can avoid all of that. You join our inner circle and get direct and unfiltered access to us. And we help you close your first deal together. Cut years off your learning curve, increase your odds of success like crazy. And on top of that, trade anxiety for confidence because you have us by your side. There's nothing scarier than having a seller on the line and you're making an offer and you don't know what to do. That's scary. That can be scary, especially if you're just starting off. Now imagine if you're alongside us inside of the inner circle. All you need to do is book a call on your screen right now, and you can avoid all of that. Again, see if you get on that call, get those last questions answered, and really make that decision right then and there. Now, long term, we have a vision to partner with all of our students in JV deals with you guys. When implemented, this will allow you to close your first deal within 4 weeks, roughly. It's still a work in progress. Again, it's still a work in progress. But when we get there, be prepared for a big price raise, because if we're able to help people get their first deal closed within 4 weeks, you best believe that there's definitely going to be a price raise. Get in now, and you can already have a ton of experience once this actually rolls out. Now, just book a call already. Do you want to be this non-wholesaling virgin, or do you want to be the rich wholesaling Chad? I know this is kind of corny, kind of just like a joke, inside joke, but you get the point. Like, don't be this guy that's going to try drop shipping or another business model for the 50,000th time. Oh, I'm going to pick this back up. Okay, yeah, we've heard that before. You know, your bank account's still at $5, buddy. Or do you want to be the rich wholesaling Chad? Simple as that. Now, before we get into the live Q&A, I just want to answer some frequently asked questions. Do I need an LLC to do wholesaling? You don't. You don't need an LLC to do wholesaling, but it's recommended once you actually start making money. I closed my first deal under my name. My second deal, I did it under an LLC. Now, do I need a real estate license to do wholesaling? You do not. You can double close your deals, and you can find a lot of that information on my YouTube channel on how to actually double close those deals. You don't need a real estate license to do wholesaling. Now, how much capital do I need to start? Again, we always like to say around like $500 to $1,000 if you'd like to do this on your own. Now, do you need an attorney or legal help? My first deal, we closed with no attorney. Hectic. Hectic. Every single deal after that, we've always used an attorney. And the way that attorneys work is that you pay an attorney once the deal closes. Don't think that you need to pay an attorney for his time up front until the deal closes. No, he'll get paid at the end. And it should really only be about $500 to like $1,500, depending on the attorney and how much you have to do. Now, how do taxes work? You're simply just going to file as an independent contractor, and just get a CPA. They'll be able to make your life 1,000 times easier, 1,000 times easier. Again, this only matters if you are making money. So let's focus on making the money first. Don't let this be something that holds you back. Now, how do I protect myself in my contracts? You'll be protecting yourself with the inspection period within the contract. Again, feel free to go over to my YouTube, check out the contracts video. You can even get the contracts underneath that video as well. Cameron Olvera, Wholesale Real Estate. You'll see the face, click that. That should be able to help you tremendously. Now, what happens if you can't find a buyer? Well, that inspection period that you were signing, and within the terms in that contract that you're able to find on my YouTube, you're able to back out of a deal if you aren't able to find a buyer without any repercussions. So just go ahead and go watch those. Now, should you look for sellers or should you look for buyers first? You already know, guys, look for sellers first. The buyers are always going to be there. The demand is always going to be there. Sellers, it's a little bit trickier to get those deals, so focus on that first. Now, if any of those questions is what was holding you back from booking a call, book a call right now that it's cleared up. Now, comment me. I'm actually very, very curious. Comment me in the chat if you have already booked. If you have already booked, comment me. Let's see. I'm curious. Comment me in the chat if you have already booked. There we go. Wow. Got a handful of people. Let's go. Love it. Me, damn it. I love it. Love it. Alrighty. Now, if you are on the fence and have some hesitation or questions before you book a call, comment the letter Q and we'll get to those shortly. Now, for the $250 cash giveaway, fill out the form that we're dropping in the chat right now, and I'll pick a winner tomorrow night. Are we dropping that form in there? Yeah. So feel free to put that in there, fill out that form, and I'll be picking somebody tomorrow. Now let's get into the live Q&A. Feel free to ask anything about the program, closing the first wholesaling deal, etc. Feel free to ask away. Now I'm going to keep this here so you guys are aware. Actually, no, yeah. Where is it at? Ethan, you see any questions rolling in?
No, nothing. Yeah, just form.
Me, MD, make this money. Love it, Victor. All right, let's go to the questions. I don't have 2,500, but I'm hungry to get this started. Jada, still book a call. Honestly, we can get something figured out. For those that are actually still here, the OGs, the 100 and whoever are still here, even if you don't have that 2,500 to get going with the program, still book a call. We'll get something figured out for you. Brother Cam is here for you. Realize that. I'm 17 and I got my first contract signing, but I think I fumbled because I didn't walk them through the signing. Yeah, that is really important, Aiden. It's really important to be on the phone with them. And that, again, it comes down to that process, a consistent process to be following from lead in to getting that contract signed and even to getting the deal closed out. There's a lot of moving parts, and just fucking up on one thing can really mess things up for you. So that's why it's really important, Aiden. Booking a call now. I'm still here. Love it.
What's the minimum age requirement? So there's really no age requirement. You just need to have someone that's 18 or up signing off on your contract so you can actually get paid at closing. That's it, though. What's the worst mistake when you got started? The biggest thing, I'll go and then Can, you go. I think that the biggest thing for us in my opinion, was just not getting the correct help. Obviously, is number one, because we kept going in we kept going in circles. So we didn't get the right help to start off. Right, you.
What was the question, Ethan? Sorry, I was reading other ones.
What was the worst mistake that you had when you first got started? Not doing enough, also, just like not making enough phone calls, not making enough offers.
Hitting lists multiple times. Me and Ethan would get a list, we'd go drive for dollars, go through it once, and then never call it again. You gotta call a list multiple times. You gotta hit them multiple different ways. Some people like a text, some people like a little mail piece, some people like a phone call. You gotta work it.
What's the best form of generating leads? So we recommend cold calling for beginners. The best, I mean, there is no best. It's good when you mix a bunch of different marketing channels together.
How can you put a property in a contract when the city has property control? So yes, if the property is owned by the city, we've never wholesaled a property that was owned by the city. The city owns it. It's probably going to go to auction. Where is the form for the giveaway? Do we have that? Are we able to drop that in here? I think it's right. Where is it? Where is that at? You got that, Ethan? Don?
No. Sandra does. Kaylin said, "Yo, mod, where's the form?" We'll get the form in a bit.
Mods, where the form?
Should you tell a buyer that you're...
Is it possible if you're not a U.S. citizen? Yes, Enrique. Even if you are not a U.S. citizen, you can do this.
This one says, should you tell a buyer that you are a seller? No, you should tell them that you're a wholesaler. Buyers do not care, because that's where they source deals. Where would you get the contracts? Cam, do you have the contracts on your bio?
You can find them on my YouTube. Let me get these resources for you guys. Actually, don't go to the YouTube. Let me get something for you real quick. I have something for you guys. Go.
Is there an opportunity to work with you guys if we're local? So yes, 100%. Within our inner circle, we probably have, we have a handful of people in Chicago, maybe even like 10 plus. And we're helping them close deals. People in Chicago have a huge advantage because it's the market that Cam and I have, that's where we started. And we have people, staff and in-house that can go on appointments for you. We can sell deals with you. There's a lot of good advantages if you are local to Chicago. So definitely book a call.
Yeah, guys, again, this call that you are, basically the form that you're filling out and you booking that call, you don't have to be fully 100% set on it. The call is for you to get your last questions answered and to make sure that this is going to be the right fit for you. So even if you are still a little bit on the fence, book that call. Be able to get on a call with somebody one-on-one, one of our student success coaches, and get those last-minute questions answered. And really see if this is the right fit for you. So feel free, go book that call right now. Click that link on your screen.
Yeah, and if you guys are still kind of on the edge of what the actual inner circle looks like, let's show them. I'm going to share my screen. So this is what the community looks like. And this was actually a recent incentive. So this is the month of September. So the reward was 1 free month on the CRM. Most calls made, leads generated, offers made, contracts signed, deals closed. We want to see you guys win, and we're going to provide the resources to the people that are putting in the work. This month, contracts signed, we're giving, I think, 4 or 5 cold callers out for free, and we're not even, the third week of, or I guess we are the third week of September. So we want to see you guys win, and we put incentives out that way. In terms of all of our calls, this is what it looks like. So we've got 4 every week. inner circle KPI review, marketing call, acquisition call, disposition call. And then if you ever need one-on-one help, also, oh, this is another cool thing. Group calls, we just recently started recording these, so you guys can go back on whatever calls that you're curious on and go back through there. Questions, direct help, all that stuff, guys. We have a DM channel. Cam and I, we get back to you guys within 24 hours. So that's what the inner circle actually looks like. But, if you have someone guiding you that's already done it, it's always way, way, way easier. Like Cam and I, we're starting to do door knocking in like our actual wholesaling business. That's what new marketing channel we're going to try. And, we paid someone 15 grand to work with us in a short period of time just to show us how to do that, so it's like little stuff like that. So that's the online money hack, going in and finding people that know what they're doing, replicating it, and making money.
How does the price reduction work within a contract if the buyer offers less than the seller wants? So don't bang on just one buyer to to get that offer. If they offer less, try to get a couple more offers from some other buyers. Now, if you find yourself having a property locked up too high, that's just something you need to go back to the seller and renegotiate something and get another piece of paper signed to ensure that everything is still locked in place. Jaden. On the house, at the area.
Okay. What's an example of a good deal for a seller and buyer? So, every single time the buyer needs to have profit built into when he buys it. So let's say, for just easy number's sake, say the property is worth $100,000 fully fixed up. Typically, the buyer is going to want to make about $30,000 from that, 30% of the total value. Now, then from there, you subtract out the renovation. Maybe it's 10K in reno. So now you're at 60, and then 10K to the wholesaler. Now you're at 50. So, you're working out the numbers for the buyer in a sense, and then you're adding your fee on top. Now the seller isn't winning on the number because you're never going to really be able to give the highest number, but you're winning on like what the solution that you're providing them is, whether it's a fast closing, buying it with the tenant, helping them vacate, whatever the case is. That's where you're helping the tenants or the sellers. Mm-hmm. You're never really helping them entirely with the purchase price.
Mm-hmm. Somebody asked, what does the title company deal with? Does it matter if my buyer is in a different state? No, it does not matter that your buyer is in a different state. And basically what the title company does is make sure that that title is clean. So there's no debt due on the property. If there is, want to make sure that the purchasing price is going to be able to cover all the debt that is due on there. Taxes, mortgages, involuntary liens, voluntary liens on the property. Want to make sure that all of that is able to get clear. The title company is basically going to ensure that you're going to be able to get this property free and clear.
Yeah. Alex said, can you wholesale in other states, or do you suggest we start local? So you 100% can. You can wholesale from anywhere in the world. That's why there's probably people out of the country right now, out of the United States, that want to wholesale. They can. All right. Now we recommend being closer to where the properties are at, so you can go meet the homeowners in person. But if you can't, it's no worries. You do it virtually.
Somebody asked, Cam, how do I know if it is a discounted price? That is a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. Let me pull that up for you. So the great thing with an area, like Ethan was saying, with the houses that were built before 1960 or 1980 and 1990, a lot of the houses are very, very, very cookie cutter, which makes it a lot easier for us to be able to understand the values of these properties, especially if we are able to understand the condition of this property. So I just want to say, let's say I have a brick single family in the south side of Chicago, for instance, or to make it even more exact, let's say it's a brick bungalow in the south side of Chicago, to make it even more precise for you. So I'll pretty much go into an area and I will start looking for what these people are paying for. So brick bungalow, single family, boarded up. Obviously, an investor paid for this one, and you can see it needs everything done to it. I know you looking at this right away, you might be thinking like, oh, does it really need everything? Yes, this definitely needs everything done to it. And it looks like investors are paying about 30. Oh, it's pending right now, and it recently sold for 31. So you can see that investors are probably willing to pay somewhere around this. So if you can get a property under contract at, let's say, $20,000, boom, you found a property for a discounted price. You found a property for a discounted price, and let's keep going. I bet you can find even more. Or even, let's say reverse. Let's say you don't find any of the distressed ones. Let's look high to low. Let's see if we can find a brick single family bungalow. Boom, right here. Again, brick, single family, bungalow, fully renovated. Like, look at this. This is brand spanking new. And guys, this is in the hood. Like, this is in like some of the worst areas in Chicago. This looks nicer than my childhood home. And I can tell you, there was no gunshots going off in Huntley, Illinois. I'll tell you that. This is nice. Like, you'd be surprised. There is demand out there in those areas. And there are houses that are selling for this. Now, again, how do you know if you got it for a discounted price? Well, this investor paid $50,000 for it in 2023. So if you can get it at $40,000, you know that you got it at a discounted price. Now, guys, that is just the gist. That is just a little bit of what you're able to get within the inner circle. We're talking hours of video modules on that stuff. You get one-on-one support through our support coaches, and on top of that, you get 4 weekly group calls. And a lot of those calls, one of those calls, I believe, one of those calls, we've been changing a couple things around. One of those calls is dedicated to finding the offer price, comping properties. We're going deal by deal for all of the students within there, all of the members within the inner circle. We're like, all right, let's check out one of your deals. Let's see what you should be offering on this. Let's see what you should be offering on this one. Guys, I'm telling you, book a call tonight if you are looking to change your life. We want to be able to help you fast track your success with wholesaling. And on top of that, the one-time offer, 20% off, guys. Very, very rare that we do this. So the fact that we are offering this to you tonight, you're lucky. Honestly, you really are lucky. So if you haven't already, go ahead and click that link on your screen and fill out that application and book a call with us tonight. And let's see, maybe we are able to help you. Maybe we aren't. There's only one way to find out. Book that call tonight and let's get it going. Let's see if we can really change that financial situation once and for all. Kaylin, I got you. I know you were the one asking that question.
Hey, Sade got their first contract signed. So.
Let's go. Is there a different process for people who have mortgages versus people who paid off their house? No, same exact thing. We're looking for people that are motivated to sell for a reasonable price, a discounted price typically, and within a reasonable timeline. And they also gave us the information on the condition of their home. It's really it.
Miles said, can I tell the seller that I put EMD down only after inspection since the buyer will put down EMD? So yeah, that's the beauty of this. Like, this is not a regular job where you have to follow the rules. Like, you're making the contract, you're making up your own rules. So if that's something that you want to do, 100%. And yeah, I mean, with our deals, a lot of them too, like we'll find a buyer super fast and they'll just put the EMD down for us as well. So yeah, that's definitely doable.
Julian asked, I was driving for dollars and I drove past by some houses where the stairs are all messed up and leaning. I'll see some with overgrown trees too, but they look occupied, howling directions on the windows, etc. Are they worth calling? Yes, 100%, guys. It doesn't hurt to call. It really doesn't hurt to call. If you see something where it looks like there might be a little bit distressed, guys, again, most of the people that we're putting under contract with these houses, they're professional procrastinators. All it takes for them is one phone call one day from Julian asking, hey, interested to sell your house to me? They might look at it as a sign. Who knows? These superstitious people, these professional procrastinators might look at it as a sign from God saying, you know what, now is my time to sell. They gave me a buyer in my lap. Guys, it's just always worth it to give them a call.
Giovanni said, I saw a house for $50,000, but it has to be rebuilt. Is this deal worth pursuing? So if it has to be like fully rebuilt in terms of like new foundation, everything, probably not. But I'm going to assume that this is something that needs to be just renovated. And yeah, it is a deal. You've got something for $50,000 and it's worth $190,000 as long as maybe you put, say, another 50, 60, 70, 100,000 into it. Someone's going to buy it. They can make money on it. Sure.
I know you guys are asking a lot of questions right now. Let me fit in one question to you guys. If you haven't booked a call yet, there's about 100 plus people on here right now. If you haven't clicked the link on your screen and booked a call, why? I'm very curious. I would like to know why. Because I know there's some people in here that are having their finger right over their mouse right over that link, ready to book a call, ready to fill out that link, but you haven't yet. How come? It's the only question I have for you guys for right now. I'm very curious. I'll be able to search for some more questions while I'm waiting. Because I'm broke, bro. I don't have the amount at the moment. Fair. Guys, like I said before, Brother Cam has you. For the few hundred people that are on here right now, even if you might not have that money, I still want you to fill out that form. I want somebody on my team to have a conversation with you to help you figure that out. Sure, you might not have the money now, but as long as you are in touch with my team and they're constantly giving you resources to see success and you have some sort of direct contact to me and Ethan, that is more valuable than not filling out that form, not booking it. So again, we have other options. If that $2,500 option might not be for you, Brother Cam's got you, man. I'm always going to have something for you that you can be able to get value from. But it starts with actually filling out that form and booking the call, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to figure out what is actually best for you. A one-on-one call with one of our student success coaches, and then being able to figure out which option is going to be right for you. So I hope that cleared some things up for the people saying that, I don't have the money to start. I don't have the money to do this. Still fill out that form. For the few hundred people that are on here, Brother Cam's got you, man. Brother Cam has got you.
Cam, scroll up. There's one by Cody that you answered pretty good in the chat.
Can you read it? I don't see it.
Scroll up on the chat.
What due diligence needs to be done before talking to cash buyers?
Yeah.
What due diligence needs to be done before talking to cash buyers? Well, one, you need to have the property under contract, and you should have some basic details to be able to give this cash buyer. Or if you're able to just give them access to the property, even better. But try to have some sort of details on the property. Bedroom amount, the condition of the property, and the asking price. Be able to provide that to them at least. That's the due diligence that kind of needs to be done. But in terms of your due diligence, definitely go out to the property, take a look at it. Try to even put a lockbox on the property if the property is vacant. Now, if the property has tenants there, some more due diligence is to be able to get the tenant's contact information or whoever is occupying the property, just so when you need to go do walkthroughs, you have that person's phone number to be able to coordinate a time. So, Cody, actually an amazing question. And I give you a lot of props to asking that question because, yes, there is some due diligence that needs to be done before talking to cash buyers. So I'm very glad that you asked that. Probably the two biggest things. Try to put a lockbox on the property if the property's vacant. If it isn't vacant, try to get the phone number or contact information for whoever is occupying that property so you can coordinate times to get into the property. Alrighty, guys. We're about to be at our deadline here. It is a pleasure as always, guys, to be able to do these. I know it's been a few weeks since I've done one of these before. We got it done though. You were here, you took the notes, you filled out you filled out the application possibly, you filled out the form to enter that $250 giveaway. And guys, I am, as happy as always to be able to provide you guys with some value. Brother Cam, read my message. I will. Feel free to shoot me a DM, Kaylin. I will answer that ASAP for you. But we are running short on time, getting a little bit late over here. Guys, it's a pleasure as always. And until next time, make sure you are actually taking action with this, guys. You have the notes, you have the action plan, you know exactly what you need to do. Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get it done. And guys, make sure you turn on my notifications so you know when the next class might be. Who knows? We might switch it up completely, have an entirely new training. There's only one way to find out, and it's by coming to the next one. Guys, I love you as always. Until next time, let's get to this bag.